Hey, que Pasa Calexico? Welcome back to the podcast. Like always, before we begin, I want to thank a couple of people. I want to thank my anchor sponsors. I want to thank Sergio and Jake. Thank you guys for sponsoring the podcast. I also want to thank David Gastelum for becoming a sponsor of the podcast. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home in the Imperial or San Diego counties, make sure you contact David Gastelum at 760-235-9576. He's not only a realtor, but an investor with over 20 years of experience. He will not only sell you a property, but teach you along the way and one of the most important investments that you would make. You can find David on Facebook, David Gastelum on Facebook. Just look up David Gastelum, or give him a call at 760-235-9576. I also want to thank everybody in the front lines. I want to thank doctors, nurses, our truck drivers, everybody in the kitchens in our schools, making sure that our students are fed. I want to thank people who are stocking our supermarkets, people working, the cashiers and everything at the supermarkets, and making sure that we have our, the necessities we need. Our pharmacists, doctors, I already said doctors, but teachers who are dealing with this distance learning and making sure that our students are still learning and staying safe at home. I also want to remind everybody to shop local. Right now it's one of the people that are being affected the most is our local businesses, and they're our neighbors, our friends. So make sure we support them. If you don't know if they're still open, I'm sure they're a call away, or look them up on Facebook just to see if they're still open and if they're doing takeout or deliveries. And today my guest is coworker of mine, history teacher at Calexico High School. And the proud owner of this amazing mustache. Look at it. Trying to grow mine. My guest today is my friend Jesus Nunez. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
You want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Well, my name is Jesus Nunez. I've been teaching for about 19 years already. 18 years here in Calexico. I had experience teaching at Dianza Junior High School. Was there for about 8 or 9 years, I believe. And then I transferred out to Camarena Junior High School, where I was for 6 years. And then for the last 3 years, I've been at Calexico High School. And I teach world history.
World history. Something that I've been, I want to do in these interviews I do with, teachers is kind of like show how every teacher is dealing with this whole situation. How are you dealing with this whole distance learning?
Well, distance learning for me is not new, to be honest with you. I've been working with technology for the last 5-6 years, trying to incorporate a lot more technology lessons into my classroom. The use of computers, different apps for education. So my students at this point, they're very familiar with, for example, Google Classroom. In fact, since the beginning of the school year, I start with my Google Classroom the first week of August, and we do assignments there almost on a daily basis. I use different programs for education and like vocabulary, for example, for writing, all kinds of different things, also related, of course, to world history. So my students are very familiar with how I teach using technology. So for me, it was like I want to say like a comfortable switching from being in the classroom to using the computers. And distance learning for me, it's I believe it's a really good experience because students are more independent learners, and you just give them the tools that they need, and they just take it from there.
What's the biggest difference or biggest thing that you miss from not actually being in the classroom with the students?
Not being in the classroom by nature. I mean, teaching is my vocation, so I love the interaction with different students, and that interaction, the atmosphere at the school, the atmosphere in the classroom when the students are there. That's really what I miss the most. Yeah, so that's pretty much what hit me when we thought we were going to go back to work on April 20th. So then when I found out that the year was practically over, I mean that hit me pretty hard last week, and I did struggle for a couple of days because I mean, as a teacher, you have to be in the front lines with the kids. And yes, using the computer and technology is awesome, but there's nothing like being there with the kids. So I do miss that atmosphere, that energy that the students have.
So you've been able to make contact with all of your students?
Not all of them. Students, some of them have reached out to me either by email or by commenting on some of the assignments that I have given the students. Some of them don't communicate with me at all, but they are doing the work. As of yesterday, I want to say that probably about 60% of the students have done some work. I want to say that about 25% have done all the work that I have assigned. But they're coming in and out. I'm available through email as they know it. And I do lessons using Screencastify. I do record myself, give instructions on the assignments, I explain things like that, and they do watch them, and that's how I keep track of it. Something that I'm going to start trying once we come back from the break, from spring break. I'm going to do daily attendance with Google Classroom. So that's something that I'm going to start incorporating, just to make sure that I keep better track as to who's logging in and who's not logging in. That way I can make a contact with that student.
Okay. What about parents? Have any parents reached out to?
You know what? No, because the parents, they already know that I do everything online. So only one parent just sent me an email in regards, because that student's been out for a while, even before we were released for this virus situation. And that person only emailed me just to make sure that the student had everything that the student needed for to do all the work online. And I just and we discussed everything through email, and that was pretty much it. Other than that, I haven't had any more parent communication. Something that is helping out, though, is that the high school has been really good at reaching out to the kids, either through email, the Remind app. They're very constant as to publishing information also on their Facebook pages. So that helps a lot too. Yeah. And they answer a lot of the questions that they might have for us as well.
You say that you've been it's been an easy transition for you, but is there something that you miss from your classroom that like in general, like the environment?
Yeah, I miss lecturing. I like to lecture, even though nowadays you're not supposed to lecture a long period of time. I mean, I've been cutting short on my lessons. However, that lecturing part is very important because that's the interaction you have with the students. A lot of the kids, they have a lot to bring to the different topics that we cover in world history. Especially something that I love doing is connecting what happened in the past to what's happening today. And the kids are always surprised that a lot of the issues that we have right now, we've been having them for a long period of time. Mm-hmm. So that connection with different topics and the discussions that we have in the classroom, that's really what I miss a lot as well.
Even like this situation we're going through right now, it's happened in the past where, mm-hmm. We've had pandemics and yeah. What is it? The 1918? What was it?
1918. Yes. Yeah. In fact, we when I covered World War I during the month of January, that's something that we talked about, that the Spanish flu hit during World War I time and how it pretty much spread throughout the world. So, and then the virus situation we started hearing about it like sometime in February. So immediately we made that connection to what was happening with this pandemic right now with the Spanish flu back in 1918.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how things, I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but history tends to repeat itself.
Mm. Do you feel that, because I talked to a teacher yesterday and we're talking about how, some of us students are going to miss, these last months of school. In terms of like the subject you teach, do you think it's going to be hard for them to move on because they didn't get those last 3 months? Or is it something that, like say like a math teacher would probably be a little bit more worried because, there's specific material that they might need to know for them to move on?
You know what? I think it depends on the subject. Like you mentioned math right now. I think math is more procedural and it spirals as well. compared to history, because history, you read about it and pretty much it doesn't change. Math, in my opinion, because I'm not a math teacher, but I have seen a lot of changes in math over the last few years as to with the new Common Core math and all the stuff that the teachers are doing. So the way I see it, math probably will be a little bit tougher, in my opinion. But for history, I mean, as long as the kids have a good reading skills and writing skills, analytical skills, the kids will be able to do well. And that's something that I focus a lot at the beginning of the school year. We do a lot of reading activities, a lot of writing, and that way I find out where the students are at. And based on the beginning of the school year, how everything goes, then I start planning my lessons based. For example, if I feel, you know what, most of the students need a little bit more writing practice, then I do more writing activities. If I see that the reading levels are kind of low and they're struggling, then I tend to do a little bit more reading activities. I mean, but even my students can tell you that in my class, we do a lot of reading and we do a lot of writing. Because the best way to learn is through writing. I mean, really, that's how you internalize more of the content that you're learning about.
Yeah.
So for me, even though this pandemic probably would affect in some cases, but I think the first 2-3 months of school will be crucial to bring the kids up to par.
You're somebody that, you know, I worked with you from, you know, when we were at the ANZA and now at the high school. And you mentioned that you're somebody that uses technology a lot. Have other of your co-workers, you know, other teachers, people from the history department reached out to you to, you know, to get a little bit of help on you know, this transition of distance learning?
Well, not really right now. From the beginning of the school year, that's when some teachers will, you know, give me a call, send me an email, how you do this, or can you help me with this area of Google Classroom, or how to upload an assignment, things of that matter. But right now, not really, because I think in our history department, most teachers, since we already have the Chromebooks in the classroom, one Chromebook per student, I think many of the teachers already, you know, they're starting to catch on into having a Google Classroom, assigning things in there, using it as a means of communication with the students. So I think our department it's pretty strong when it comes to the use of technology. I always offer help. I tell them, if you need any help, please send me an email, call me, whatever. I'm always available. But as of today, really, nobody has reached out to me for help. However, like I said, a lot of the teachers already have become, you know, more independent when it comes to the use of technology.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy how much we slowly started implementing Chromebooks into the classroom, and how now we see the benefits of, you know, investing in technology.
Yeah, and like I tell the students, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I learned, it's pretty much on YouTube. I mean, even myself, I go into YouTube. I want to say, what are the new elements of Google Slides, for example? And I will type in something like that, and I'll get a video, and then somebody will be explaining what are the new elements of Google Slides, you know, interactions and things of that matter. So I'm very independent when it comes to things like that. And then, of course, once I go to trainings, or like the district right now offering all sorts of trainings in regards of not only Google, but also YouTube, for example, Edpuzzle, quizzes, so many different programs that we can use. I mean, also with that as well, I mean, that helps a lot. So, you know, you get the training from the district right now that they're being provided, and then you get the stuff that you do on your own. And pretty much, I mean, that's where you take it from. You kind of like play with things here and there. And that's why I tell my students, I'm also an independent learner. You need to be that way as well. You don't know how to do something, go to YouTube, type in the question, you'll get something, and you'll learn how to use it.
Yeah, that's something that, to me, when I you know, see kids failing, I'm like, man, before when I was a student, we used to actually have to go to the library, do research, and now these students have, you know, information in their fingertips, and it boggles my mind to see that, you know, students are maybe not completing assignments and they use the fact that they don't have, you know, the information available as an excuse, because they have the information at their fingertips.
Yeah, that's correct.
Something that a lot of people especially we do with teachers. I remember doing it as a kid. Is that we neglect is that teachers are people like everybody else. They have students that go to school, they go to the supermarket. They do all these things that normal people do. They're not superheroes. As a lot of, especially little kids, when they see a teacher at the store, they're like, oh, there's my teacher. And
Yeah.
but something that we kind of neglect, and you're a good example, is the fact that you have kids in school. You have kids that are like probably like in 3 different stages of the educational system. You have a student that's a senior. You have a 6th grader, right?
Yes.
And then your daughter is in kinder or
1st grade.
1st grade. So I mean, you have students that are one's ready to graduate, the other one's ready to go into middle school, and then your little one. How are you coping with that? How are you dealing with distance learning with your children?
Well, the teachers so far have done a great job. For example, with my daughter in 1st grade, with her teacher, they do all sorts of activities on Seesaw. I see her using Clever, Imagine Learning. She uses like 6 different apps throughout the day to do her assignments. And the teacher does a great job explaining everything that she has to do. I mean, she's practically teaching online. And she gives like 3 minutes mini lessons. And she's able to, do the work, and she does everything very well. Also, the teacher has reached out on Fridays reach out to the kids, and they do experiments online. Like last week, they did some sort of experiment, and my daughter, she had a blast yesterday. They learned how to make flour tortillas. So
yeah, I think I saw it on social media.
Yeah, so I mean, those things are great because they keep the kids, with their mind active and into learning. With my 6th grader, the same thing. The teacher posts assignments every single day, and takes him about an hour, maybe less than an hour, to complete all the assignments. Once again, which they use Google Classroom, and a lot of communication goes on there too as well. And then with my senior, teachers, since some of the teachers didn't give him anything like with Google Classroom related. However, he got packets for a couple of classes, I think, and I think that teacher will be switching now to Google Classroom once we come back from spring break. But other than that, I mean, he says that most teachers have done a lot of the outreach through Google Classroom. So he's also doing all the work as well. I tell them, this is not a vacation. I want to see the work done every single day.
Yeah.
So I do focus on that a lot and making sure that they're doing their assignments.
Yeah.
So that's me as a parent. As a teacher, I mean, I wish more students will be able to connect on a daily basis to see what the students are, what the teachers are posting for them to do. But I understand it's hard. I mean, these are difficult times. I mean, we don't know what the kids are going through at home. Maybe some of the parents lost their jobs. Maybe some of the parents or siblings or family members got sick with the virus. I mean, as we know, we have 20 cases here in Calexico alone. We don't know if some of those cases are from some of my students, or people that we know. So it's understandable. It's a tough thing it had never happened before. So it's on a daily basis. We're pretty much learning as to how to, how to deal with this situation. I mean, another thing that I'm really concerned about is the outreach for the students that have anxiety, for example, students that have depression. I just hope that they continue with the services. And I know the district is still offering the services. And I just hope that these kids, my special education students as well, that they are continuing, getting the services that they need.
Yeah, I know that. I don't know where they sent out I think it was a reminder, letting people know that even nurses are available if they need any communication with them. So yeah, I mean, I know that our district is doing their job in terms of making sure that kids know that somebody's there if they need the help. Because I was talking to Ms. Rodriguez yesterday, and a lot of kids, schools are safe haven. They feel safe. They know they're gonna, if they're having a hard time at home, they know at least at school, they'll feel safe. They'll have something to eat in the morning and at lunch. So yeah, it's hard like to think of those cases, of kids that really really need school, and as to feel safe or to have something to eat. So yeah, it's kind of hard. It's really something that we really don't think about, but it does go on, and we know that we have some of those cases here in Calexico.
Yeah, because honestly, I do feel that our district has done a great job, not only providing the academic materials for the students to keep on learning through this situation, providing computers and providing iPads, providing anything that they need to do the work. Even connectivity to the internet.
Yeah.
Academically, I mean, it's excellent. They're offering the cafeteria services for the community. That's excellent as well. And continuing offering the emotional support to the students, which once again is great too. So I think our district really has done a great job offering the adequate services for the students.
If there are any of your students or just students in general listening or watching, then is there something that you would like to, let them know?
Yes, of course. Just let them know to hang in there, that this difficult times will be a great learning experience for all of us, especially them. As they grow up, this situation will pretty much teach them the difficulty of life, but at the end of the tunnel, there's always light.
Yeah.
Another thing is to hang with their families, try to to be at peace with everybody at home. I know that's hard, especially if you have like little siblings and they cannot be getting along well. But just to be patient. Patience right now will be pretty much something that we all need to have, because I honestly thought that this was going to be over soon, and it's going to extend for probably a few more months. So just patience and to keep on learning. I mean, I know that probably some days I don't want to do this assignment, but you know what? Those assignments that we're giving you will keep you busy through the day. The day will go faster. You'll learn something, and you just keep yourself motivated. And hopefully, I mean, I have hope that we go back before June, honestly, because the way we left, it feels that the year was it didn't come to an end. It's like an open chapter that needs to get closed. So I'm hoping and I'm hopeful that we go back, and hopefully the seniors will have their graduation. Hopefully we can have that time to say goodbye to our students and get ready for the next school year. That's what I want to say. And to my seniors, many of the students from this class were my students before, and I have a few seniors right now. So, I mean, God willing, hopefully there's a graduation for them, a physical graduation. I know it's kind of hard to say goodbye on the internet, having a virtual graduation, and I have heard all the comments and all the kids talking about it, and I understand it's tough, but I mean, hopefully and God willing, things will get better, and this miracle happens, and we can go back and hopefully these kids can have their graduations, which they truly deserve.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. I was just thinking about it this morning that we were, how it ended so quickly. We were in this high of our basketball team, doing such great things, and then we're gonna start baseball and softball season, and then all of a sudden this thing happens, and like you said, like there's no closure, like we just go home, and we were expecting to come back after the break, right? I think so. And
April 20th we were supposed to go back, but it's not happening.
And it's I think that's one of the hardest things to like for me, like think. I mean, I try not to think too much about it, because it's just I don't want to add more stress to this whole situation, but just like the unknown, what's gonna happen, it's just it's a little bit crazy. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, and the students need to understand that we are going through a lot of issues too, as well, with this pandemic as well. We're being seriously affected just because we're teachers, or doesn't mean that we are exempt from it. I mean, for example, last week my grandma passed, and
sorry about
there was a funeral in Mex, and I didn't go. I didn't go to the hospital to visit her as well because of this virus situation. So I've been trying to respect as much as I can to stay home, and as much as it hurts, you know what, life goes on, and I got to take care of my family, and that's why I didn't go, and it hurts. But once this is over, I'm going to the cemetery and pay my respects, and I'm sure that she understands that. Another thing that is really difficult for me is my son, who's a senior, like graduating. That one's tough as well. I mean, because we look forward to this for many years, just like other families and hundreds of kids as well. We're not going to have his law enforcement ceremony because he was part of the law enforcement class, which is a really cool ceremony that the high school does for the law enforcement students. My sixth grader, he will not see a promotion from 6th to 7th grade. My daughter, first grade, I mean, the three of them were having a great year, and that came to a halt. Mm-hmm. So that's tough to swallow. And it hit me pretty hard for a couple of days. But, you know, we got to bounce back. I mean, we got to keep the faith and believe that out of all this mess, something great is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, something that Ms. Rodriguez mentioned yesterday, like, especially like for seniors or some of these kids that are in high school, you know, it's going to teach them how to be responsible in the sense that, you know, they're being given all this work online, and they need to manage their time to, you know, get things done. Because when you go out to university or college, you know, they don't have the same amount of oversight, you know, from the teachers and counselors. You know, they're, you know, pretty much on their own. So this is kind of like a little bit. It's kind of like a little lesson towards, you know, going out to college and to the real world. Yeah. You know, dealing, you know, being responsible for your work and your time, and hopefully, you know, they see, like you said, like, just learn something from this whole situation. Mm-hmm. And yeah, like it's hard. Like, everybody has, like, you have your three kids that are going through 3 different stages of education, and somebody else might have some other experience that they're going through, and yeah, it's hard. But, you know, at the end of the day, like you said, you just gotta have faith that, you know, we're all, if we all stick together, you know, we'll get through this, and we'll come out of this stronger than we were.
Oh, definitely, I agree.
Is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, it's just to the students, keep on learning, and to the community, stay home, take the proper precautions, and like you said, we are going to come out stronger than ever after this.
Yeah. All right, Jesus, thank you for taking this little bit of time, you know, to talk to me, and hopefully some of your students and some of the parents out there are listening and watching, and, you know, they know that, you know, you're there for your students and for their kids. So is everybody in the district. You know, we're all trying to help making sure that everybody's safe and learning, and you know, we're getting through this together. But yeah, thank you for the time. And thank you guys for listening. And on Monday, I'm gonna have another interview. I think it's Ms. Jennifer Lopez. So stay tuned. And if you have any teachers or friends that are teachers, or your teachers that you might want, you know, them to be on the podcast, let me know. Send me an email at quepasacalexico@gmail.com. I'm trying to reach to as many teachers as I can, especially different grade levels, just to see how they're, you know, dealing with this whole situation. I would like to get somebody from kinder, because kinder is a really important, you know, level. You know, kids are, you know, going into their first year of school, and, you know, they're learning like the basics. So that's a big first year to kind of miss those last 3 months. It's kind of like hard. So I would like to get somebody from kinder to tell us, you know, their experience with their students. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.